Do not try this at home. I'm what you call a professional. Bullseye. I love that sound. Oh, sorry, Clyde. I'll come back to you. Oh. Got to work with it. Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the barren hills again of Tennessee, the home, yes, of Paul Harrell viewers. Another shout out to Paul Harrell, okay? I hope he doesn't mind my stealing his line today, okay? Just as a shout out to him, okay? Anyway, yeah, glad you're here. It's a little barren. I had some misses. Hopefully I won't have too many. I'm shooting something sort of haven't shot before, so I have an excuse. I was going to wait till the video started. That's the only firearm I have really, except my defensive firearm, and so I went ahead and fired it with just some specials. Thought I'd start out on a kinder, gentler round, some pretty light 44 specials. So I don't know. What I did was, as you follow all the strange goings on around here, know what's different on my Anaconda. Colt Anaconda. By the way, I always put in the description on Sundays, well, every day. It's usually the title of a video, right? Since we aren't smart enough to do just clickbait, right? We just put the title of the gun in there mostly. But yeah, on Sundays, I put that in the description. First line, what I'm shooting, everything, okay? If you're ever curious, if I fail to tell you what caliber it is or something like that. But yeah, it's my Anaconda, my 8-inch Anaconda. And I have new grips for it. You know, it's something I have struggled with quite a while. And I think, wild animals over there eating anybody up, I think I have found my perfect grips. Now, I don't know, I can't base that on my fine shooting to start off things, but I have had difficulty hitting well with this firearm. And I think the grips, I've been blaming it on the grips being too thin, which is a common malady of the new Colts. For me, I don't know what happened. Did they think people just all got a whole lot smaller when they started bringing out these beautiful pythons and anacondas again? Because if you go back and get the older ones, like my 1981 python and the other one I had let get away years ago, the grips are thicker and they feel great. The grips for my 81 vintage python feel fine. Now they might feel too thick for a lot of people. Maybe that was the problem because I have such large hands. I don't know. But anyway, I found these just this past week at a gun show and got them on yesterday. So those were my first shots without to work with that for sure. Figure it out because they feel good and they look great. Don't they? You know, they look so good to me. I think it's rosewood. It with that horse in there. Why is there a horse in that? I don't know. A Colt. They look so good. Really, I don't care if I can shoot it or not. I might just hang it on the wall. Beautiful, I think. Yeah. So here we are, Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm a little early this week. You're watching the Super Bowl today, and so am I. I'm going to, right? But so again, if the world ends, you know, I always pick the best day of the week, or the day I can do it, or if I'm going out of town or whatever. And so, yep, it's the week of 2/11, the Super Bowl, and many of you will be tied up watching. Well, it's not tied up. We watch it out of choice, don't we? Most of us, not everybody. Some people don't enjoy ball sports at all. And some people have gotten really disenchanted with professional sports, especially even college sports and all the wokeism and everything, and have gotten away from it, including me. I don't watch basketball really anymore. And I used to be a fan of the NBA. I mean, I didn't catch every game, but especially playoffs, that kind of thing. I devoted several years to playing basketball, played college ball, had aspirations to play professionally, and even had contacts from professional teams, you know, inquiries and that kind of thing. Long story, I've told some of that. But so, and I really followed it back then, and you know, the Larry Bird area, Magic Johnson, Jordan, and all that. And but you know, the wokeism kind of turned me off, and I've kind of gotten away from it. I don't even know who's playing for which teams. I know a couple, but I just have gotten away from it. But the NFL, I kind of enjoy it. It's a great spectator sport, and I don't, you know, I usually watch 1 or 2 games on a Sunday during the season. And then when the playoffs start, I try not to miss a playoff game, because it's every game. Here I am telling people something they don't know, right? But football, because they just play once a week generally, and then every game is so important, and it's so critical. It's a great spectator sport, even if you don't have never played, which I never played football. It's and so I enjoy watching football. It doesn't seem as woke and not as much craziness. You know, there was for a while, but I think they kind of handled that pretty well. Maybe not. But anyway, I am, yeah, Super Bowl today. What else? What else? Yeah, new grips. Gosh. I don't know. Well, again, no giveaways. Again, not that we don't give away some things, but it's kind of under the radar, or at the Tennessee Firearms Association auction, you know, every year, that kind of thing. And don't forget the Hickok 45 Clips channel. Hopefully you're getting over there. I notice a lot of you are. It's Hickok 45 Clips, and John's pulling off pieces of videos from the 2,500, 3,000, however many there are, and he's posting one about every day. So check it out. And he's linking to the actual video. So if you see something that, oh man, how did I miss that? You know, you'd like to see the whole video, go back and see it. You know, that sort of thing. So yeah, Hickok 45 Clips. You know, it's a really a good idea. It's like, why not? But like I've said before, we have so many videos, and lots of videos many of you have not seen, and there could be some things you'd find halfway interesting. Well, the weird thing about it is I've looked at some of the things he's pulled out, and it's like, you know, people are kind of, you know, all over again. The same questions come up or whatever, like the Glock switch, and wow, that's not illegal. How'd you get that? You know, ATF will be at your door. You know, different things like that. Oh no, not that again. But whatever he pulls out, there it is. And which, by the way, you know, as you all know, I talked about it a lot. Speaking of the ATF, anything we've ever done, of course, is perfectly legal. Now, we might be dumb, but we ain't that dumb. And if I had something that was illegal, you think it'd be in a video? Well, I can go beyond that. I don't even have anything that's illegal, much less put it in a video. You know, even if I had a really, really strong desire for something that was, I don't know, either so expensive or unattainable, you know, in firearms world or any world, that it was that I just couldn't get it, and unless it was illegal or something like that, I wouldn't do it. I don't do it. I have too much fun. I have too good a life. I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize my life or this project. You know, wouldn't do that. We've turned a lot of things down because we just felt like it would kind of jeopardize what we're doing. Some of it involved some good money. You know, we don't want to jeopardize what we got, what we're doing. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, Glock switch. Yeah, we've been fortunate to know people who own those. You know, like silencer companies, or and then also Silencer Central and that kind of thing. You have to have special manufacturer's licenses and things for some of that stuff. It's real, and then even some of it, like a Glock fully automatic, is difficult to come by even with that to some extent. But we've been lucky because we've had arrangements with different people come by and bring cool stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, something that reminded me of something. Oh yeah, that did remind me of something else. I get someone write me every now and then, or they'll send me a link to something. You know, these people that, I don't know, they make their YouTube career out of researching people or something. I don't know what they do. They don't really create anything themselves, but they just investigate people, or they have things like people's net worth and all that kind of stuff. You know, how much so-and-so's making, you know. Wow, Such is making $40 billion a year, you know, and they put some video on that kind of stuff, or me, or whoever else. And I just for the record, now we do well, we do fine, you know, yeah, no complaints. However, those videos they're virtually always wrong, and they're like way wrong. I really wish they were not wrong and they were true. If they were true, I would not have 40 acres. I would have a couple of 100 acres, maybe 500 acres. I would, with about 10 ranges. But I would, I don't know about the 10 ranges, but I would. I'd have at least 100 acres, maybe 3 to 5. It's funny, 500. I've always said that too. Back when I was teaching and through most of my career, I made, you know, decent money, average money, whatever. My wife made decent money. I never missed any meals or anything. But, you know, whenever lottery ideas would come up, or someone talk, I didn't play the lottery really, but gamble. I mean, I have, you know, just a little bit. You know, just I've never been drawn to it. But I would say if I were to win the lottery, I kind of know what I'd do with, you know, if it's 40 million bucks or something. I kind of know what I'd do. Or if I were an independently wealthy, you know, individual, you know, growing up or something, I wouldn't be that guy that goes crazy. You know, you never know for sure, but I always did contend that I would be well suited to be a billionaire, because I wouldn't go crazy. I would enjoy it. I would have the best piece of land you've ever seen. I would have the coolest, whatever you'd call it, gentleman ranch or farm. I would have that. That would be where I would spend it, you know. I really would, and in a way to get around the place, whatever that involved, and you know, I'd be happy. I'd have a small house on that place. I'd be happy. A couple of guns, you know, place to shoot. Kind of what I have now, just blown up a little more property-wise. So if I wanted to shoot buy a helicopter or an old Huey, I could fly it around the property and shoot at targets maybe. You know, I might go a little crazy, but that'd be the extent of it. You know, I wouldn't like get into drugs and just crazy stuff like people do, and lose it all, bet it all, or buy things and, you know, crazy expensive things, and before they know it, they've lost it, or get into weird investments, and you know. So, but anyway, I don't know how I got off on all of that. But yeah, I wish some of those were true. So can I shoot this thing now? Again, these grips, well, not again, I didn't even mention it yet, how I got them, I made those, carved those out of a tree I cut down on this property. Believe that? That was a lie, that was a joke. And Alabama holster, got one in my pocket. I almost pulled it out. I did, just to shoot as we started, so I wouldn't shoot my big revolver here first. But great little Kydex holsters, appreciate their support. Okay, Ballistol, Talon grips. I'm sorry, Talon grips, I love you, you know that. From the very beginnings of the company, I've been smacking your grips on my guns, but I don't think I'll put a wraparound of Talon grips on this. You think? No, I wouldn't want to do that. All right, now where was I? Well, I was going to tell you about this, yeah. I was at a gun show in Murfreesboro last weekend, and I was really near the end of the show. I'd gotten through there about an hour, met a lot of you. It's good to meet you all and everything. And I came up on you know, I've talked about this, my problem with the grips on this gun and the Python, finding them. And when you see them online, you can, oh, those are beautiful, but you don't know how thick they are. You know, in fact, lots of grip sellers, they don't, if they just show you the back of the, you know, the back strap, that would help. They usually don't have a shot of that. They just got a shot like that to show you how beautiful they are. Well, for all I know, they're even thinner than the original, you know, or not the original, but the grips that come on a Python these days, a 2020 Python. And gosh, what grips came on this? Were the same? I've forgotten now. I had them off so long. I think they were the same, weren't they? But anyway, they're thin. Well, you can't tell. These I think I've seen these in a picture on Altamont. I think they're made by Altamont. And I thought, in fact, I remember seeing them and thinking, wow, those are good looking grips. I wonder how thick they are. Well, yeah, I just assumed they're like all the other, but no, they fit great. And anyway, at the show, I came up on a booth at the end of a table, and a guy had some, I forgot his card number. He has a business in Blountville, Tennessee. RJM or something like that. I forget, our Enterprises. And he's in Blountville, Tennessee, though, East Tennessee. And he had a lot of the new Pythons and Anaconda, different barrel lengths and all that stuff with lots of different grips on them. And I was, oh, great. I think he had these grips on one of them. Oh, great. I could actually put my hands on a couple of different grips here, and then I'll know, whether to order it or not. And then got to talk to him, and not only did he have that, he had a bunch of these grips around here on the other side. And so wonderful. And I said, yeah, I like those. Can I hold the Anaconda with them? He said, what barrel length? Well, it doesn't matter, And soon as it hit my hand, that's it. Hey, well, I don't need to know the barrel length. They're a different gun. I mean, as soon as I put my hand up, that's it. Yeah. So I think it was. Now, after I shoot some more today, maybe it won't be. But yeah, man, look good looking, and they feel great. Even if I can't shoot the gun very well with them, it feels so good to hold, and it looks so good. Maybe that's all that matters. It really does. It feels good. And I exaggerate that and laugh about that. But, that is a point we have made a time or two, John and I both, I think, in various videos, yakking at you, that sometimes you might grab a gun, and that is what makes it difficult to pick out a firearm, doesn't it? Sometimes if you're inexperienced, or even if you are experienced, you're at a gun show, and you pick up a gun, and, oh man, I don't know, that one didn't feel right. That one feels, oh man, that one feels great. But if you rented that at a shooting range, it might be you don't shoot it as well for some reason. And the one that doesn't necessarily feel as wonderful in your hand like this, it feels, the grip just feels a little bit off maybe, or doesn't feel as good as some of the others. You're talking polymer pistols or whatever. Maybe you end up shooting that one better when you actually put bullets on target. It's a weird thing, isn't it? And that could happen to me today, we'll see. I don't know. And I got the Wilson combat sights on it, I think I adjusted those, didn't I? I just haven't shot it lately. So, but now, and it's time to learn to shoot it, because let's put some Steinel, well, let's put a Magnum in there. Yeah, Magnum. It's time to learn to shoot the thing, because I've got grips that I think feel great to me. I've got the Wilson Combat rear sight, so I'm ready for combat. So it's just a matter of getting it all together, right? These are 240 grain. Imagine that, a 44 Magnum, 240 grain jacketed soft point. Yep, I believe a few of those have been loaded over the years. Okay. Now I got to be careful too. Who knows? Maybe it's not my day. I'm just not steady today or something, or seeing the sights as well. But it's time to get started getting this thing in shape. Let's start with the cowboy. Shoot right over that bowling pin. Check the elevation, at least at this range. All right. Yeah, that popped him a little higher than I thought. Let me try that again. Okay. Try Clyde. Yakking. All right, Gollum. All right. Held on the bottom, I think. Probably went too low. Yeah, when I say I held on the bottom, I think what I mean by that is, you know, yeah, I was trying to hold on the bottom, put it that way. When the trigger breaks, if you feel like you might have flinched a little bit or something, maybe you were not holding on the bottom when the bullet left the barrel, put it that way, or when the firing pin popped the primer. So you're trying to hold a certain area, but you're never 100% sure, right? It felt pretty good. Okay, might be getting there. Oh man, yeah, I know I brought this thing out too many times, haven't I? But I just couldn't resist. I was looking forward to shooting it, and I hadn't fired it till the day you saw the first shots with the new grips. And they do feel, I mean, I don't guess they're too big. They feel, I could contour them a little bit more if I wanted there. But man, they feel so much better. I'd rather get used to these than those thin ones. Yep. Oh, by the way, too, some of you have written me about the Rumble. Our videos have been synced for, I don't know, a couple of years, and everything we post goes over on Rumble, but they're having some kind of problem, and for last month they've not synced. So they have a problem with that. So it's not us. We haven't decided not to post on Rumble. And I'm not going to upload over there and go through all that probably. So hopefully they'll get that worked out, and they will be posting over there as well as on YouTube and Gunstreamer. Okay. Let's just load up some more of these. Shoot this thing again. How's that? Remember, it's an election year. And you want to be in touch with the people that matter in your county, state, and country. All right. Yep. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. I think I pasted, yeah. I had a comment. Yeah, speaking of elections. This guy, I don't mean to make fun of him. I don't know whether... you hear this kind of thing from some anti-gunners, but it could be from somebody who is actually a gun owner and thinks that people overreact a little bit. Yeah, so I don't know. So I don't even get his name. I wouldn't probably give it anyway. I'm not in the business of bashing people. I might repeat a quote somebody that said something really dumb, but I'm not going to give their name or their username probably or any of that kind of thing, you know. People have too many beers, or people just, you know, there's enough bashing, okay? So this is kind of a general bashing of this sort of thinking is what I'm getting at. Let the people who just need clicks, can get attention on their own, do the bashing, okay? I don't want to fall into that. But he says, I guess it's a he, I don't remember. I get the folklore around elections, but sir, everything is still available for purchase. Weird. Everything is still available for purchase. Weird. Have you considered the inaccurate fear around elections as a way to manipulate people? Have you considered, I guess, that the inaccurate fear around elections is a way, I guess he means, to manipulate people into thinking there's a sense of urgency to push more gun sales? To date, my theory seems more accurate than they're going to take our gun rats away. Interesting to consider. So you see that, don't you? Some people, they're not going to get your gun. They're not coming for your guns. And they even joke about it, you know, or sarcastic. Yeah, they're coming for your guns. You're always saying that. They're coming for your guns, you know. They ain't got them yet, you know. And that's kind of what he's saying. You know, it's just hysteria driven up to increase gun sales or something. You still got your guns, you know. Well, I answered him. I didn't copy that, but I just said, yeah, well, you need to follow the politics of what's going on, because the only reason we still have our guns, or certain guns are still legal, is the fact that every gun rights organization in the country has been fighting tooth and nail in the courts and out of the courts to keep those rights. That's the only reason. Particularly on, it depends on the models and guns and all, and the states and everything else. Ask the people in California about that. Do they still have all their guns? Or Massachusetts or Connecticut, or New York or New Jersey, or you would name the states, right? Or Australia or Canada or the United Kingdom, you know. I'm sure there were people in all of those countries and in all those states that made that same comment. Yeah, oh yeah, they're coming for our guns. Yeah. So anyway, it is an election year, so it is a time to make your voices heard, because if you don't realize that there are politicians actually coming for our guns, wanting to come for them tomorrow, they have stated that, their intentions. It's not like some hysteria, conspiracy theory. You know, they've stated, they have made the mistake of saying the quiet out loud. You know, they've done that. We've got them on tape. We know what they want. So anyway, be aware of that. Don't forget. Okay. All right. Let's shoot some more. Okay. Oh man, 44 Magnum. I shoot too much 44 Magnum, don't I? I still prefer, I know I slobber over this beautiful thing and everything, and I'm trying to get it right. I still prefer my Model 29, I think, but I like this. It's a nice alternative. All right. What about you, Clyde? The trigger is a little heavier on this. I don't mind it. On my 29, when you're ready to break, I mean, it's just breathe, and it's like a set trigger almost. And most Smiths, the Colt's a little harder, a little stiffer, so you got to be careful not to pull it off just a little bit, you know, left or right, high or low. I'll try dong again. Figure out whether I got the sights where I want them, get a good shot on it, a good let off. That was too low, I could tell, I think. I'm trying to get a really good trigger break, that's what I'm trying to say. Bring it up a little bit. There we go. Brought that up. I still thought I wasn't maybe quite high enough, but I was. Okay. That's a trick, getting a good trigger break. How about a 2 liter? And fins. Oh man. Yeah, when you're sighting in a firearm, I just fired 4. You ideally you're on paper or something where you can tell right where you're hitting and everything. Of course, I do it kind of the redneck way, just sling it out there at the gong. If it seemed to hit where I want it to hit, okay. But all of that is dependent upon your having a good trigger break, you know, that because and knowing that you had a good trigger break. And of course that just comes from shooting more. You know, I could take 30 shots at it and I get more confident. Right now I kind of think I know where to hold. But you got to have confidence that you know, you remember well where those sights were when the trigger actually broke, that you didn't jerk it left or right, you didn't jerk down or anything. That I knew I got a vision that's burned into my brain where that front sight was, and when that trigger broke, and I just know I didn't flinch, and it hit wherever it hit. You know, you gotta know that, right? So yeah, I think it's going to be okay. Now, what's it for? I don't know. Hog hunting, whatever. It's for adding a little beauty to my life, right? Quality to my life, if nothing else. I got some 44. Where's that? Yeah, here's some Steinel 44 Special. Let me shoot some of those. They're a little warmer than that Precision 1 stuff. I don't know. Plus, they're purty, aren't they? Okay. No, here we go. None of you probably, but in normal videos, I do catch it. I've mentioned that. What are you doing shooting 44 Special and 44 Magnum? I would never do that. Well, you ain't me. Oh, good. In fact, I've thought about something I've not done enough of, or ever maybe, is, okay, I shouldn't have brought it up, but you know, 44 Magnum, the 44 Magnum, the 44 Special is just a shorter 44 Magnum, and the 44 Special is, what is it? It's a longer, not 44 Henry, but a 44 American, right? You had all those cartridges back in the early days of the 44 Henry, the 44 American, and what was the other one? The 44 Russian. So maybe it's the Russian. Maybe it's both of them, the American and the Russian, that will chamber just fine and shoot in one of these. I need to, research that some more and make sure I know what I'm doing, and get some of that ammo, and come out and just shoot everything that will chamber in a 44 Magnum. Shoot them all. Okay. All right, 44 Special, and these are 200 grain in lead with powder coating. I like to hit that guy over there, Clyde, with these, because they take a while to get there. I think nice. Wow. About a 2 liter right here. There we go. I shot once double action. Okay, so also that will satisfy maybe the people get mad because I have a double action revolver and I'm shooting a single action. How dumb is that? Why would you do that? Why would you ever do that? So of course that would confuse people. Here I am, I'm shooting, I'm half right and half wrong. I'm shooting 44 Special and a 44 Magnum, which is terrible. But maybe if I shoot it double action, I'm forgiven, you think? I tell you, when you shoot 44 Special on this thing, it's even milder than shooting it in the Model 29. Because this way, I don't know what the difference is in weight. I have to weigh them. This is heavier than the Model 29, 8 3/8 even. Pretty cool. Okay, anything else? I'm talking too much. Speaking of shooting, and the Hickok 45 Clips channel, John put the Uzi drive-by piece of that up there, and so that's had a new life, and we put the short up from that. He created a short and everything. So that video or piece of video has new life and lots of comments and everything. People asking about this and that, and the one thing I tell people about that I'm on a bicycle coasting down, well, it's right down here, and shooting into the hillside with an Uzi. And as I'm doing it, I look like a real stiff. Well, it's a little bit harder than it looks, because you're balancing on a bike, and you want to be safe with whatever we're doing, and you can tell it's safe. I'm fully under control. But as I may have told this before, the thing is, once I got started doing it, and of course I did a practice run without shooting, just make sure, okay, I can hold the gun, and I know how it feels to shoot it and all that. There's not much recoil, and I can do this and balance it. It wasn't a problem. So then we did a live thing. Well, the difference is when I was actually firing it, and I think had a stiff arm, whatever, it wouldn't have mattered, stiff or not, really. But the recoil from the Uzi, which is not that much, but in fully auto, so I was just planning to veer down closer to the tree line, but my bicycle was sort of moving to the left as I was doing that, because that was actually pushing me over there. It'd be like someone had their hand on my shoulder pushing me a little bit as I was moving. So I got off of course just a little bit with that. it was a weird feeling. I mean, it was enough to really get my attention, and it was almost a little, you know, if it had been much more than that, I would have maybe needed to redo it or not do it or something, you know, but it was okay. It wasn't dangerous, but it was interesting. So, all right, let me shoot the Magnum. I'm ready for a Magnum. Let's shoot a Fiocchi Magnum. Turn 40 grain. Okay. Yeah, man. All right. Again, appreciate Wideners.com and yeah, and gun fun targets that make our paper targets for us. Pretty cool. About time for me to order a couple. 246. All right, in the double action, you can load 6 safely, unlike old or single actions. Okay. Although some people are real cavalier about that and load 6, and even in the old ones, and you know, that's fine if you don't shoot your toe off or something. You're not carrying it. I load 5 again, not because I want to be John Wayne or be extra safe necessarily. It is safer, but I don't want to develop a habit. It's kind of when you're loading 5 in a single action Colt or a Ruger old action, whatever, you're doing that because, you know, it's easier for the hammer to rest on a primer. You don't want that to happen, whatever. Loading, that procedure, as you know, for loading 5 in a single action, where you put one in, then you skip a chamber, and then you load 4 in a row, then you cock it, and the hammer comes down on an empty chamber. It's just a really neat system for doing that, okay? Works every time. If you're in cowboy action shooting, that's what you do every time, you'd be disqualified. And it's just a good habit to get into. So, it's not, I know when I'm on the range, I could put 6 in my single actions and pull up and shoot. It's not that big a deal. It's just that I'm breaking that habit, that really, that learned habit of how I load a single action that is ingrained in my brain, and I wanted it to get ingrained in my brain, just like you want to have it ingrained in your brain that you keep your finger out of the trigger guard, you keep your finger straight, you're messing with a gun like this. And you know, so I don't want to get out of that. I just, it's just simple to do it that way. It's not a problem. Like I said, if you want high capacity, get a Glock 17. It'd be like there were certain times when it was okay to just go ahead and put your finger on the trigger. Well, you don't want to get into the habit or out of the habit of keeping your finger straight and out of the trigger guard. You know, even if there's absolute, like if I'm, for example, here's a good example. What if I'm waving this gun around and showing you, and I might break that thing sometimes, I don't know. But like if I'm doing this, the cylinder's open, it's empty, we can see it, and I'm showing you something. Well, obviously I could go ahead and have my finger on the trigger and pull it if I want to, you know. But I don't want to get in the habit of doing that, even though it's plenty safe. I've established, and I hope everybody has, pretty much the stiff trigger finger like that, and that's just what we do, you know, have your finger straight outside the trigger guard. And no matter how obviously safe it is, you know, so it's a little like that, I guess. I don't know, that just came to my mind. It's kind of a comparison, my feeble mind, and I got to get out of here. Okay. Before I shoot these, let me tell you, I do have some advice for young people. Try to have a realistic view of the world. Be smart, investigate, research things. Try to know how the world works. The world, if we've learned more and more in recent years, can be kind of complicated and big. There's lots of big entities, companies, organizations, governments that affect us every day. And it's really easy to be a conspiracy theorist. We've learned a lot of those conspiracies were not conspiracies, right, in recent years. But you've known people who, like, they take the lazy, ignorant approach to judging everything almost. Like, well, the government doesn't know anything, or it doesn't do any good to vote. Government's going to get you. It doesn't matter, you know, you know, there's just, you can't trust a politician, any politician. You can't trust a business. You can't trust anybody in business. You know, big business, they're all out to get you. All they think about is money, and all the politicians are you know, outlaws, all of them. Well, you know, people like that, and I think they kind of take the lazy way, the lazy man's approach to judging the world or analyzing the world. No, every politician is not an outlaw, and in it only for themselves, and a lot of them are. Every business, big business or small, they're not out to screw us, you know. I mean, you know, what that does is it keeps you from having to think or know anything. You just sort of take those attitudes and you sound smart, and they're not going to take me and they're not going to fool me. You know, that's kind of the ignorant approach, I think. You want to try to become more knowledgeable about how the world works, so you can kind of analyze things, look at the big picture, and you do see that, like, politicians and big business, big pharma, whatever, how things do work. And it's not necessarily that those politicians or those companies, or whether it's big pharma, whoever it is, that they're evil. Might be some, but it's just kind of the way large systems operate. They really do. We become a small cog in the wheel, and once things get moving, the inertia of something is hard to slow down or change directions, and you become a part of that system, so to speak, in which it's fine to resist it, right? But you want to sort of understand, if you can, how that system that works, learn about it, and how it is affecting us, and how, like, the medical, I talk a lot about the medical world and all that. You know, once you get certain gigantic companies that have an enormous amount of influence over the medical world, you know, or any other world, whatever it is, politicians, then things just happen kind of because of that, and they're influenced by that, and individuals don't question certain things, and so we end up with, like, weird dietary standards that are obsolete and inaccurate, and all that kind of thing. You know, last week I gave a shout out to Dr. Ken Berry. Man, I highly recommend you check him out. I watched an interview he did just this morning on YouTube. That was done 3 or 4 days ago, I think. But man, check him out. He interviews a gal who is a surgeon, and talking about a lot of the same things, and things that affect the medical industry and world and all that. I mean, it's just reality, and it's reality. It's not just sitting back and go, well, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust a doctor. You can't trust a politician. You can't trust anybody in big business. You know, well, there are segments in all of those worlds where people are trying to do better, and you know, not being driven by the machine, the system, so much. But if you don't ever, you know, think out of the box or get out of your little box, you know, you won't find that. So anyway, I don't know if that's worth anything. Probably not. Okay, this is worth something. Okay, let's have some fun with these last 6. Let's go double action. How's that? Yeah, man. How about a Kentucky 2-liter? Bowling pin. How about a hog? Nice. I think I got 1 or 2 left. I think Clyde needs another piece of lead and copper. Yeah, he deserved that, and so does the cowboy. Oh yeah, pretty nice. Thank you, Colt, for bringing back the Anaconda and the Python. Yeah, You see them in shops now. You see a lot of them, and they're fun shooter. Yeah, it just dawned on me. We posted the 5-inch python just this past week. Sorry to be such a Colt fanboy on you here, but I do like it. I'm glad they came out with these. So, yeah, I think I'm going to like the grips. That little corner there, I might need to work that off. I don't know. It hits my bone a little, maybe. I don't know. Depends on how you shoot these things. If you shoot them with 2 hands versus 1 hand, you get a different recoil sensation, don't you? It hits you in different places. So, beautiful gun, beautiful gun. All right, so I'll let you go and talk to you later, I guess. Gosh, I've been lucky. There's been a day every week where I didn't freeze to death. Even when I've had my coat on, I don't think there's been a day this winter that was extremely uncomfortable. Well, if it's too uncomfortable, I won't be out here. But yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Probably next week I'll get frozen. But so far I've been pretty lucky. So I hope you enjoy the Super Bowl this afternoon. And if you're watching it, if you're not watching it, you won't enjoy it. Maybe you'll enjoy your life more if you don't watch it. I don't know, but I'll watch it. I will. And I will see you next Sunday, I hope, okay? And that means you got to be here, or I'm not going to see you. And if you're not here, you're not going to see me. That might be better, but yeah, I hope you'll come out, okay? Life is good.